Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jen. I do cooking, canning, and food preservation videos every Tuesday, and I do vlogs on Friday. If that seems like the sort of content you'd be into, I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around. Today we're going to be making bang bang shrimp. I am using a deep fryer. You do not have to. You can just use a deep pot. The recipe I'm using calls for buttermilk. I do not purchase buttermilk, so what I've done here is just added a couple of glugs of lemon juice to about 2 cups of milk. And to that, after it's had time to sit and kind of thicken up, I'm going to go ahead and add my spices. I'm going to start with about a teaspoon and a half of garlic powder, and I'm going to add a little bit of that to this cornstarch I have here in the back. We're not using flour for this recipe today. Cornstarch is the key to making the shrimp extra crispy. I'm also going to add about a teaspoon and a half of onion powder, and then I'll add a little to the cornstarch as well. Now you can put whatever seasonings in this you like. Old Bay seasoning would probably be delicious, and it's a lot of the same seasonings that I'm using here. I'm going to put a little salt. This shrimp is kind of naturally salty, so I'm not going to go overboard, but just a little bit. And some black pepper. You could obviously use white pepper if you prefer. I love black pepper, so I added quite a bit. No measurement here, just measure with your soul. And then because I wanted this to have a little bit of a kick, I'm also going to add some cayenne powder. And then again, to my cornstarch. I'll just mix all of these seasonings into this milk really well till they're mostly dissolved. And then I'm going to pour these directly in on top of my bowl of shrimp. Now, this shrimp has been cleaned and shelled and the tails have been taken off. I did kind of wash it really well first and drain all of the liquid off. And we're just going to let this shrimp just sort of marinate in this buttermilk and seasoning mixture for a little bit and absorb some of those spices. I have my fryer set to 375. If you're doing this on the stove, just use a meat thermometer to check the temperature of your oil before you start to add your shrimp, just to make sure that it's good and hot. Anywhere between 350 and 375 should be sufficient. Shrimp does cook relatively quickly when you're deep frying it. So I'm just going to shake the excess buttermilk off of my shrimp, and then I'm going to toss them around in this cornstarch I have here in this bowl. And funny story, I didn't realize how much cornstarch I would need for this, and I was unprepared. I ran out of cornstarch about halfway through. I have a lot of shrimp to cook because I'm cooking for 6 adults. So I sent my husband to the store to get me cornstarch, but somehow along the lines, our wires got crossed and he brought me cornmeal instead. So I did end up raiding my pantry and I found some glutinous rice flour that I used in substitute. And it ended up working perfectly. The shrimp, you couldn't even tell the difference between which ones were done in cornstarch and which ones were done in the rice flour. Rice flour is finely milled, so it was the perfect substitute. So I would say use whatever you have access to. If it's cornstarch or potato starch, rice flour, any of those things would probably work just as well. So I'm just going to drop my shrimp into my fryer one at a time. I want to make sure that I don't crowd my fryer. I don't want the shrimp to stick together all in one big lump. I want them to fry individually. And to do that is to just be patient and do a few at a time. If you're doing this in a big pot on the stove, it's the same process. You just need a couple inches of oil in the bottom of your pot and just don't crowd it. Be patient. Let the shrimp sit for a couple of seconds and then, make sure that it's not sticking to the bottom of your pot, and pretty much the shrimp will float when they're done, and you're just waiting for them to get nice and golden. Now keep in mind when you're frying things, they continue to get darker after you remove them. So once I remove them to my draining rack over here with a paper towel under it, I know that they're going to get just a smidge more golden as they sit because of the remaining heat that is in the shrimp. And I'm going to move on to another batch here, and I'm just going to continue to cycle through until I get this huge bowl of shrimp done. Obviously, this process is going to go a lot faster if you're just cooking for a couple of people. I have a small army in my house, so this took me a while. So while my shrimp is cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and make the sauce for this. And it's a really easy sauce, and you can adjust the levels of the things that you put in it according to your own taste, depending on how much spice you want. You know, just taste this as you mix it and add what you think you need. So I'm going to start with some mayonnaise. I guess I used probably about a cup. If you're making less shrimp, you won't need this much sauce. I would say use about 1/4 of a cup of mayonnaise for a smaller batch. And then I'm going to use about a cup of Thai sweet chili paste or sweet chili sauce. This has amazing sweetness to it, and it kind of counters the spice that I'm about to add to this. But again, if you're making a smaller batch of the sauce, about 1/4 of a cup. And then I'm going to add sriracha. Sriracha is totally to taste. I added, a few tablespoons, and then I stirred this all up. I tasted it, and I decided actually I wanted it to be spicier. The sweetness was strong, but the spicy wasn't strong enough for me. So I put quite a bit more sriracha in this, and it was so yummy. You could even put a little bit of that cayenne pepper in this as well, or if you have Korean chili flake, if you wanted this to be super spicy, all of those things would work really well in this, I think. So this is pretty much the last batch of shrimp I did, and I wanted to show you, this batch was done with the rice flour. And as you can see on the tray, you can't even tell a difference. Up close, the color is a little lighter. The batter is a little lighter than the cornstarch, but it was still delicious. And like I said, you really, once it was in the dish, you couldn't tell that they were breaded with different breadings. Now for this bang bang shrimp, you do have some options as to how you can serve this. Obviously, serve it however you want. It would be really good with some cilantro lime rice. These are just suggestions. Next time I make this, I am going to make them into shrimp tacos. I'm going to shred some cabbage for the bottom and lay the shrimp over top and then drizzle the sauce on. But on the night that I made this, I just kept it simple. I made a batch of jasmine rice, and we just piled the shrimp up nice and high on top and drizzled the sauce all over it. And it was amazing. I loved it like this, but I really do think that the shrimp tacos are going to be perfection. If you happen to be allergic to shellfish, I think that you should still try to make this dish, but maybe use chunks of chicken breast or some thinly sliced pork and make it in the exact same way, make the exact same sauce, and just enjoy it with an alternative meat. And it would be really good. Now, if you want to put some of this sauce directly on your rice before your shrimp, that works. I am just going to drizzle a little bit of this over the top, and then I'm going to add a little bit of extra sriracha for some more heat. And then I'm going to garnish it with parsley, but if I had had green onions, I would have put green onions on this instead. I really hope that you give this, bang bang shrimp a try. It's a really nice dinner. And you don't have to go out to have it. So if you give this a try, please leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. And until next time, friends, happy cooking.